Today, we are diving into one of history's most unsettling prophecies. I'm talking about a prediction that seems to have pinpointed a massive disaster with shocking accuracy centuries before it ever happened. So the big question is, was it a genuine vision of the future or just an incredible lucky guess? It really all kicks off with this one very cryptic line. You have to remember, this was written way back in the 16th century by the famous seer, Nostradamus. And this single phrase, it's become the absolute centerpiece of a massive historical puzzle. So what on earth could it mean? All right, to crack this puzzle, you first have to understand a little bit about how Nostradamus worked. He wrote his predictions in these four-line poems. They're called quatrains. And honestly, he made them super vague and cryptic on purpose. I mean, he probably wanted to avoid getting in trouble for heresy. But one of them really stands out because it's so weirdly specific.
And here it is, the full quatrain. It names a city, London. It talks about fire, about death, and about the fall of some kind of powerful symbol. For generations, historians, enthusiasts, you name it, they've all been trying to figure this out. Is it a fluke? Or was this guy actually seeing something?
Okay, to really get this, we've got to put on our detective hats. Let's break this prophecy down clue by clue and see what we can find. So that first line, the blood of the just, well, pretty much everyone agrees this is a reference to the loss of innocent lives. It paints this really tragic picture of a disaster that doesn't care who you are. It just hits the ordinary, innocent people of London. And then there's this line about the ancient lady. Now, this one is a bit more symbolic. It's almost definitely not talking about a real person. Most people who study this believe it's pointing to a major institution, maybe a famous landmark, or even a whole system of power that gets totally destroyed by whatever disaster is coming. And now we get to the real heart of the mystery. The other lines are poetic, they're open to interpretation, but this one feels almost like a math problem. 3 times 20 and 6. What possible date could that be talking about? Well, the math itself is actually pretty simple, right? 3 times 20 is 60. You add 6, and you get 66. It seems like a simple number, but when you think about it in the context of the 1600s, it suddenly becomes, well, incredibly important. And there it is, the year 1666. Nostradamus, writing more than 100 years earlier, seems to have pointed to this exact year and connected it to a terrible fire in London. So, we have the year. Now let's switch gears from prophecy to actual recorded history. What really happened in London in 1666? The Great Fire of London. It was one of the most famous disasters in the city's entire history. It just burned for days, destroying huge parts of the old medieval city, leaving thousands of people with no home, and it completely changed the face of London forever. I mean, when you put the prophecy right next to what happened, the parallels are just wild. The blood of the just, that lines up with the innocent lives lost. Burnt by fire in 66, that's a direct hit. The fall of the ancient lady, that could easily be St. Paul's Cathedral, which was completely destroyed. And all the chaos and deaths that followed, that fits the last line perfectly. So this all brings us to the main event, the central question that has kept this prophecy alive for all these years. Was Nostradamus really seeing the future, or are we just really good at connecting the dots after it already happened? And look, the arguments are really compelling on both sides. People who believe it was a prediction point to the incredible specifics, the year, the city, the fire. But skeptics will argue, hey, phrases like ancient lady are so vague they could fit anything. And we tend to see these patterns only after we know what we're looking for. Plus, let's be honest, a lot of his other prophecies are still a total mystery. So here's the bottom line. While so many predictions are hazy and vague, this one has a number, a date, that lines up perfectly with a huge historical event. And that specificity is what takes it from just some curious old poem to one of the most famous prophecies ever written. And that's where we're left. We've got a 400-year-old verse, a catastrophic fire, and this uncanny connection between them. Is it proof of some kind of foresight, or is it simply history's most fascinating coincidence? The debate is still going. And the answer? Well, that's really up to you to decide.